And I'm a long-term member of the Toastmasters third club. This is the best club. First one was Xerox. Benefit of Xerox, they paid for half our dues. They encouraged Toastmasters. The next one was that Cypress Communicators, where I was president, vice president, extremely active. And here I haven't been too active because I'm limited. I have a speech, a quickie I call it. The title of it is, The White Fence Gang, at one time, the most notorious gang in East LA. The purpose of the speech is to demonstrate how table topics allows you to put together a speech quickly. And little notes on the White Fence Gang. The White Fence Gang at one time was the most notorious gang in East LA, and it was started by a guy named Ray. My brothers and I played baseball. My older and young brothers were very good, much better than me. They're both in the Hall of Fame at Garfield High School. I wasn't bad either because my coach my senior year says, Tony, would you like to play pro baseball? I said, sure. He said, okay, we'll sign you to your brother's team where he's playing pro. And then I hurt my back. That was it. No career. My brother later got injured. One injury wipes out your career. Anyway, we used to play at Fresno Playground in East LA between Garfield and Roosevelt, rival schools, closer to Roosevelt. If you go up the 5 freeway past Indiana, Calzona, Lorena, look to the right, you'll see Fresno Playground. As teenagers, we virtually lived there on the weekends. We'd go down there, we'd have 10, 20, 30, 50 people on one diamond. Excuse me, something in my throat. And you say, how can you play baseball with 50 people? There's only 9 on the side. Well, we'd play catch, we'd play pepper. And then once in a while, I was the self-appointed captain of the smaller age group, 13 to 15. My older brother was the 16 to 17 category. And I would see new kids coming aboard, and I'd say, do you guys have enough to have a game? Yeah, we have enough. Okay, let's play next weekend. And I coordinate everything. We played. And all this time we were there, this is the location where the White Fence Gang hung around. And for the longest time, I thought, all the time we've been here, not one guy has been beaten up, robbed, which could have happened very easily because they were a powerful gang, or even given a bad luck. Why is that? How is it we can play here right in the middle of where they were created and exist? It don't bother us. The worst thing I ever saw was when I was taking a shower. They had a shower facility before. You know, there were 4 or 5 guys were there, non-athletic, just hanging around there. I took my shower, got dressed, and was walking out. From the corner of my eye, I saw a guy hit the floor. Boom. Then oohs and ahs. And I think it was an initiation for a smaller gang. I didn't wait to find out what the details. I just got out of there. But never anything happened to us. We didn't even hear of anybody being harassed. Why is that? How could it be playing right in the middle, the most notorious gang in East LA? It don't bother you. That mystified me. Another thing mystified me. I had a friend named Joe Bugrov, a Russian guy, built like a block. And he had a misunderstanding with a friend, or not a friend, but another student. And they decided to settle their differences after school with a fist fight. So Joe goes out there, built like a block. There he guy was slender, half the weight, showed up with 2 or 3 friends of his. Joe took off his jacket. He said, are you ready? Guy says, ready. And Joe beat him to a pulp. Bloody nose. Joe says, have you had enough? He said, I had enough. Joe put his jacket on and took off. And then the other guy says, why didn't you guys jump in like you're supposed to? They said it happened so fast it was over before he could jump in there. Then about a week or 2 later, word got around that Joe was gonna get his dues paid. And the information was obvious. They were gonna get Joe. And so word got around, we'll make it to longer time, I'm sorry about the time. So word got around, and all of a sudden Joe comes out at lunchtime, has a drink of water, turns around, there's half a dozen guys about 10 feet around him with a huge crowd behind them, as they've heard that something was going to happen. And I said, oh my, Joe's in trouble. Then all of a sudden, some kid shows up named Babe. He goes to the waterfront, takes a drink, turns around, asks Joe, how you doing, Joe? Joe says, fine, Babe, how are you? And this guy was a very nice looking guy, well groomed, spent most of his time with his girlfriend at break and at lunchtime, non-athletic. And all of a sudden the crowd started dispersing. It was like a big black gorilla came out of the jungle, was about to pounce. I couldn't believe it. What's going on there? Why is it this crowd is dispersing like they saw some kind of big gorilla coming at them? And the only thing that happened, this pleasant looking guy showed up. And then but many, many years later, I was with my girlfriend, a Filipino lady, had won a beauty contest in a small island in the Philippines. And there at this celebration of a wedding was Bobby Resendez. And Bobby Resendez had Hollywood good looks. Aurora couldn't take her eyes off him. Anyway, so I took Bobby aside. He was one of our infield players in the 13-15 category. I was the captain, myself, my brother, and Bobby. Carlos was the first baseman. Carlos was the catcher. Eddie Dominguez was the first baseman. I said, Bobby, why is it the White Fence gang never bothered us? And what's this guy, Babe thing? He created fear with all these people. He was not an intimidating guy. Can you explain that? Just, yeah, easy. Ray started the White Fence gang. Ray had two brothers, Chimino and Babe. And Ray was my cousin. And although they were disappointed that Ray was a gang leader, he loved his brothers and he loved his family and loved Bobby. And he made it clear, be leader of the White Fence gang, that nobody was to make Chimino uncomfortable. And Chimino was in the older group, and my brother played baseball. So nobody ever even give him a bad look. The same thing with Bobby's group, my group. You better make sure nobody gives him a bad look or bother. And that's the reason why White Fence gangs never bothered us. Well, how about the other case of Babe? Well, Babe was a younger brother. And when Babe showed up next to Joe, they knew Babe and Joe were friends. And it was pretty well known, you don't mess with Babe or his friends. And that's why they dispersed. And so in effect, growing up at Fresno Playground, not far from downtown LA, the White Fence gang was our bodyguard. If you're gonna have a bodyguard, why not the most notorious gang in East LA? Mr. Toastmaster.